2014 Honda Fit. Doing a refrigerant analyzer using the refrigerant analyzer, and before I pull it out, I come up with 4.9% air mixed in with the refrigerant. Now, different vehicles react differently to lesser or higher amounts of air in the system. Some systems actually get colder. That's a rarity, but there is a condition, and this was explained to me by my father when I was young. But and then some act really negatively and just cool horribly. Remember, the majority of compressors coming out on vehicles today are variable displacement compressors that have an actuator that go off sensors that actually, it has a swash plate that rotates, but at the same time as that rotates, it has pistons on both sides, and the actuator actually pushes the degree of the swash plate as it's spinning, and as it spins, whether it's 100% or it's only 10%, will tell you, or tell the compressor, the displacement of the pistons, how much they're going to stroke. And when you mess with their pressures of what they're using their sensors for to tell that displacement, sometimes you can have a completely full system, but it'll have 5%, 9% air, and somebody just did a service on it, came from a shop, the customer's complaining of poor performance, goes back to the shop because they have contaminated refrigerant in their recovery, recycle, and recharge machine. It goes and puts more contaminated refrigerant right back in the system, and now supposedly that technician knows he charged it right the second time because the machine tells him if it called for 1.5 pounds, it put 1.5 pounds. But why doesn't it cool right? Because you don't own one of these and you don't know your machine is not purging out all the air, and you keep putting back contaminated refrigerant back in the system. And I always get these suspicions when I have to dig in more to the car, because you see how old this car is, 2014, everything's dirty, dusty, and has dust on it, right? But these caps that I just pulled off didn't have so much of, other than me writing my name on here for my company, didn't have so much as one speck of dust on them. There was nothing. These things are brand new. There's no oil inside, there's no nothing, there's no grease, there's no buildup, but yet all the engine compartment is dusty, oxidized, but the caps were clean. That is your first suspicion. When you come up to a system and you see dust everywhere, or even if there were overcaps and you see somebody's greasy fingers went on them, or the dust was wiped off, that means somebody was in there. So you better start becoming a detective and looking for problems right away. Look for the man-made problems, because a man-made problem is sometimes the most insidious, worst thing to try to diagnose, because there's normal failures in an air conditioning system that happen normally that would not ever happen unless somebody intentionally induced them, and it could cause symptoms like something else. And this is where guys just start guessing and throwing parts at it, but all it is air. If you can't test, you're just guessing. See you guys.